Welcome back to Timeless, where we play the best cards in the best deck in the best format. It's been a couple days since I recorded, so I spent a little bit of time tinkering with familiar old cards and trying to put them into new shells. And I've come up with a new red-white shell full of a lot of familiar and powerful cards, but it's a bit different than what we've been doing. So I love playing Flage, and a lot of people have realized that this is a very powerful card, both in the Boros aggro lists as a finisher, and also just as a card that will stabilize yourself while pitching to scam elementals in the Beanstalk lists. So I said, well, can't really max out on mid-rangey 3 drops like Flage and Fair below the Mirror Breaker in my energy deck, because I might not always hit them on Amped Raptor, and I absolutely cannot play Fury and Solitude in the Amped Raptor deck. But what if we took the deck apart and then we started over, this time starting with Flage instead of starting with the energy package? And this is what I built. We have a couple of things going for us in this deck. The first obvious thing is the Solitude Fury Scam package, where we have cards like Ephemerate to flicker them. We have our aggressive, cheap 1 and 2 drops that will put the pressure on and also incidentally gain us some life. We have our mid-rangey 3 drops that will help us win the longer games, and we have this very cute land destruction package in these slots, which I consider a bit flexible. I'm trying to land destruction package in them right now. White Orchid Phantom itself also works with Ephemerate. And one more thing before I get deep into the individual cards. I love it when people give their magic decks absolutely atrocious names, so I picked an atrocious name for this one too. This is the kind of red-white deck that would love to run Blood Moon in the sideboard because you could just fetch for basic planes and then run Blood Moon pretty much for free and ruins in people's days. But we're playing land destruction effects that let our opponents tutor basics to the battlefield, so it's a bit of a non-bow with Blood Moon. However, it still does the Blood Moon land hate thing, so I decided to name this deck Moonless Moon. All right, on to individual card choices. Fury and Solitude are absolutely incredibly powerful cards. Fury itself is Banded Modern. It is a card that really keeps creature decks down, and it is the kind of card that can really slow down an aggressive deck that can get under this deck, especially when you ephemerate it up. We've all seen Ephemerate by now, so we don't have to talk about it, but there is an extra copy of Ephemerate in this deck in Getaway Glamour. Now, there's really two choices that are very similar. I want to show the other one that I didn't end up playing, but this one's okay. Touch the Spirit Realm. This is an Oblivion Ring, just 3 mana, but for 2 mana you could channel it, and you get to do the Ephemerate thing just once for 2 mana. This card that I ended up picking is similar. This is the newer card, so I want to try it. It's also an instant, which seems sweet. So with Spree, let's consider all the modes. You cast the cheapest Spree mode that's 2 mana, and it does the Ephemerate thing. It exiles the creature and brings it back. So if on turn 2 I evoke out a Solitude and then I Glamour it, it'll come right back. We exile 2 things, we get the free Solitude. Awesome. If we pay 3 mana and do the second Spree mode, we get to destroy our opponent's biggest creature, which is pretty sweet at instant speed. Sure, is 3 mana an overpay? Yeah, and Timeless is a bit much mana to spend, but it comes as an alternate mode on this card. And what's really sweet about this, unlike Touch the Spirit Realm, is you get to do it all if you spend 4 mana. And sometimes the games do go along with this deck. You could also use this to target your opponent's creatures with the Ephemerate mode. Unlike Ephemerate, which says creature you control, this says exile a target non-token creature. So you can go ahead and exile some of your opponent's stuff, which is pretty sweet. Then we have the very familiar Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride package to gain us some incidental life and also give us some aggressive kick to this deck. We have White Orchid Phantom combined with Cleansing Wildfire. These are 8 effects that destroy non-basic lands and let our opponents tutor up basics. In fact, Cleansing Wildfire actually destroys lands. So you can have your White Orchid Phantoms destroy your opponent's non-basics. They tutor out their 1 basic forest, and I say, okay, get rid of that forest. You don't have green mana anymore. It's awesome. There's also an MDFC that is a redundant copy of this effect that I decided to run. Whether or not it's optimal, I'm not sure, but it is a red card that pitches to Fury, which is one of the things that really pushed it over the edge for me. And this is the same text as Cleansing Wildfire, except you don't draw a card, but it's a land on the backside. It also says creatures without flying can't block. That has yet to be relevant for me, but hey, maybe it is in your Flage deck. Notably, we're playing 4 copies of Rustvale Bridge. You can target Rustvale Bridge with all of these spells, and it ramps you. It just straight up ramps you. Cleansing Wildfire is rampant growth that draws a card. When you have Rustvale Bridge in play, you target your own indestructible land, it fails to be destroyed, but the rest of the spell still resolves, meaning you get the basic. Very, very, very strong interaction. White Orchid Phantom itself is very strong with Ephemerate or Glamour. You can go ahead and flicker them for effect. And of course, these are cards that just pitch to Fury, pitch to Solitude, but you don't need the land destruction effect. And they come out for sideboard cards pretty frequently if I don't feel like I need the sideboard. or if I don't need the end destruction effect. Like I said before, this is kind of the most iffy part of the deck. I'm having fun with it, and I wanted to put it in the video. But maybe these 8 to 10 cards here could be something else. It could just be more mid-range pieces. I'll cook on it. These are Flage and Fable, some of the best 3-drops in the format. I don't really need to elaborate to their power level. Flage has like really showed up. People have really realized how freaking strong this card is. The fact that it is a removal spell early and then its eventuality late, it gains you so much life. Oh, it's great. And it's exactly what this deck needs because we're very slow for a Guide of Souls deck. We're the slowest Guide of Souls deck I've ever seen. But this is what really makes it happen. It pitches to both your elementals. It gains you life when you need it. It's fantastic. Mana base is straightforward. Maybe I should have tweaked it a little bit because it is kind of the same as when it was a Blood Moon deck. You can see we have all white fetches and extra planes. I think it's still fine as is. We have 2 Surveillance. I love Surveillance. I always play at least 2. Like I find myself adding more and more Surveillance to my deck. I make a deck, I say, oh, it's fine with 1. No, it should have 2. I really think you should have 2 Surveillance in all your decks if you could afford it. And then onto the sideboard, we have some Unfair Hate for Deafening Silence. You just go ahead and slam this against a deck like Belcher or Show and Tell, and they can't do their thing. Pithing Needle and Disruptor Flute, we have 4 total copies of that card. We have a lot of hate for unfair stuff, essentially, because we're packing all of the creature hate in the main deck. In terms of creature hate, we do have 1 Sun Cleanser as a hyper-specific hoser for the main creature deck in the format, which is Energy, and 2 Swords Plowshares, which is a crazy powerful card. We also have Unlicensed Hearts for the graveyard decks, and then lastly, we have High Noon, because it does fit well into this deck. This deck is pretty dang slow, so if you're playing like a Beanstalk opponent that is going to try to smother you in the value, you can just slam the High Moon, slow them down, blow up their lands, and then eventually sacrifice the High Noon for lethal burn, which I freaking love. Let's go ahead and get into some games. This deck's just sweet. All right, game 1. We are against 251. We are going to be on the draw. We have the ability to do the thing. We get to pitch out a Flage to our Solitude and Ephemerate it. This is sweet. Let's go ahead and keep it. We don't know what our opponent is playing in the blind, so we can't really use that to influence our mulligan decisions, unfortunately. We'll just have to see what happens, and hopefully a double Solitude is strong enough to win this game. We get to put the Ocelot Pride down, too, as a proactive threat, which is pretty nice. Ooh, okay, cool. Land destruction. And play out that Sacred Foundry. So, in case we don't need to Ephemerate next turn, we could just go ahead and Cleansing Wildfire whatever land they get. And if we don't need to do that, then we can just play our Surveil land and then be mana efficient. It looks like a control deck or an elementals deck. Fetching immediately. I'm gonna guess that this is a green source play beans. Looks like I'm correct. Alright, yeah, we're definitely gonna get the land destruction cooking. I'm gonna go blow up their Triumph. So let's first go to combat. It doesn't really matter since they're tapped out. But let's get the Cleansing Wildfire going. I think blowing up the Triumph is most relevant and has the most land types here. They did mulligan a little bit, so perhaps they have a really awkward hand. Nice, we draw an untapped land. And an extra Flage that we could just pitch to Solitude guilt-free. Alright, Fairy.
Right on schedule.
Right on schedule indeed. Right, they'll clear a token off the board, we get to go. Yeah, let's go ahead and slam this Fable. I was about to say, you know, we might just Flage face for 3 damage, but Fable's much better. We can now naturally discard these Flages into our graveyard now that we don't need them. Also get rid of this awkward Surveil land if we still don't need it. Fable's going to help us put on a good amount of pressure because we have our Beans opponent like stumbling a little bit, but we do need to put on the pressure to close out the game. Right, that's a fairy will just resolve. He probably gets to bounce my little goblin. Alright, goodbye, goblin. Alright, yeah. So here, let's get rid of a Fleege and an awkward land. Alright, ooh, Guide of Souls and Second Fable. I think I'm interested in just slamming both of those. Our opponent is getting priority. Maybe they have a Solitude chilling in their hand. Maybe I should have played these things after combat. I probably should have. It's okay. I assume with my opponent's tapped out, oh, it's not going to matter. It matters against the deck that can play Solitude. Right, looks like we're going to make a lot of tokens on our end step, so let's go. Hey, don't remove my cat. I want to copy my goblin. Well, the trigger's already on the stack, so it's going to copy no matter what. Our opponent's a little late here. They're just fetching out a red source. Alright, sweet. Yep, lots of life, lots of goblins. How are we feeling, opponent? Alright, there's an Omnath. I think I'm gonna Solitude this Omnath. ASAP. Actually, I should have Solituded it with the trigger on the stack, because now they can play land. That's my bad. Actually, I'm gonna wait now. Or am I? Do I just want to remove for zero mana? The reason I should have Solituded Omnath with draw trigger on the stack was to deny them the ability to play this land to gain the 4 life. I'm just thinking, do I have a better way to remove Omnath? Would I just want to Fleege it to death, for example? And even Ephemerate a Fleege to kill it. Let's go ahead and untap. We don't have to do it right now. If that enters the battlefield under my control, I will gain a life and an energy. I get to loot. We can loot array this redundant Fleege and the extra mana that we probably don't need. And then here we can just hardcast the Solitude. Take out the Omnath, and then we can save Ephemerate for next turn, if we need it. Also, because these goblins are going to make some treasure tokens, we can Ephemerate on our opponent's turn with the extra mana. Yeah, our opponent's out of here. Maybe there was an argument to play Guide of Souls first, because if we do that... Oh, yeah. This was the correct sequencing. I'm not used to playing Solitude. What I do is I play Guide of Souls before combat, just to get that little bit of extra energy. I get 6 energy, I spend it all flying things, but then I get 2 treasure tokens off of these goblins. I use those treasure tokens to cast the Solitude. We cast Solitude in combat, just so that we have 2 Guide of Souls in play, just a couple extra triggers. It didn't matter here, but you know, those little things do add up. Alright, so against the Beans deck, Fury is quite a bit less valuable. I am interested in High Noon, like I said before at the beginning. This is going to slow Beans down and keep them to 1 spell a turn, and we should be able to beat them up if we keep them to 1 spell a turn. I could even put in Deafening to really slow them down, but no, since they have the mix of creatures and non-creatures like us, this isn't going to slow them down in the same way it doesn't slow us down. High Noon will slow them down, and I will probably get to use it as a removal spell. Did I see a card I think is worth needling? No, I didn't see them play the One Ring. If they were a One Ring variant, I would think about bringing in Needle. How about bringing in Flute for a card like Beans or Teferi? I don't think so, right? Nah, I think we run it back. All right, interesting hand. So I don't think this is a keep. We don't have enough mana for ourselves. If we knew, for example, we were playing against a creature deck, I would keep this because like we have Scam Fury in our hand. But this is a deck that I sideboarded out the Furies against. All right, let's keep this though. Just want to think about how to order this. I think I'm actually going to put the kitty cat back. And the reason is because I'm thinking about my sequencing. If I play kitty cat on turn 1, first of all, it's turn 1 on the draw. I'd have to play my planes. Then that means my other land comes into play tapped, which means I don't get to Wildfire on curve. But instead, I can play this tapped on turn 1, and then the planes. Then I could choose to either ramp myself, targeting my own bridge, or I can target their lands. The cat's going to go away. We don't need it. Opponent's going to take their Surveil. I'm Probably going to be happy to double wildfire them here. But we'll see if the basics show up or if they hold up fetch lands, then I'll just wildfire myself. Like here, I think I will take the ramp. And then probably next turn we wildfire them. Me getting access to extra mana early is just sweet. And I get to draw a card off of this, which is just obscene. We get our Surveillance too. We got a Getaway Glamour. Oh, which, you know, kills Omnath. Very notably. Yeah, our opponent's being really coy about fetching just because they know that I can Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, I think here we just want to play a tap land and play Fable. Because we have this Glamour in our hand that's not doing much. We also, you know, have multiple tap lands that I don't really want to play. So I'm going to see if this Fable resolves. They could mana drain it. They absolutely could, but... do I care if they mana drain it? What else am I going to do? Just stare at them and pass? Cast a mediocre wildfire. I don't have too many choices, and I don't think I'd benefit by waiting here. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my Surveil, knowing that that resolved and my opponent did nothing. Do I want second Fable? Probably not. I think I want Graveyard Fuel for Flage more than anything. We're going to get a lot of hand filtering with the Fable, so I don't think we need to be pretty discriminatory. I think we could just throw everything into our graveyard. Alright, Omnath incoming maybe? I'm gonna fetch so many basics, right? Ah, look at another basic. Wage, okay. I might like blow up their white basic. We'll see. Because the thing is, Cleansing Wildfire can blow up basics. Wait, a Knight of the White Orchid cannot. Ooh, or sorry, this is White Orchid Phantom. Fake Orchid card. Ooh, I kind of want the Glamour to flicker my Phantom, so we're going to throw Flage into the bin, as well as the tap land. We have 5 mana available to us. 5 mana isn't quite enough to play Orchid, flicker it, play Wildfire, but we can play 2 of those things. I think one of those things should definitely be the Orchid itself, just to get some pressure on the board. I don't want them to Flage back for free. I'm thinking about Flage. Right, because they have 3 cards in bin, that's 2 to escape Flage. I blow up a land, it puts them to 3, this puts it to 4, and they would only need 1 more. If I wildfire them as well, what I could do is I can White Orchid Phantom, and then maybe hold up my Glamour. Let's go ahead and pass back with Glamour up. We could defensively flicker our Orchid, and if we don't have to, then we can just like hold it up and use it to like kill Flage and flicker Orchid on a later turn. Also, I love how they're gonna like get Omnath mana all off of basics pretty much. It's funny. Alright, there's your Triumph. Let's see if they play a fetch land and try to put a Flage back into play. It's not gonna work out for them. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and try to flicker then. I'm going to try to Glamour my White Orchid Phantom to blow up your Triumph. And then we're going to attack your basics. Okay, removal spell? Sure. How it is. It is how it is, as they say. So I'm going to assume they only play 1 of each basic because they're like a non-Yorian variant. Their deck is only so big. So I'm going to attack their Forest because it's their only green mana that they have in play. And it's probably their only copy. Ooh. Would I want to play this next turn? No, I think they're already stymied enough on mana that they're stuck casting 1 spell a turn regardless. I want to play Flage next turn. Ooh, Solitude. Always nice to see him. Okay, let's start with a Wildfire. Let's go ahead and hit your Forest. Go ahead and see if they have a new Forest. They do not. Alright, we'll keep this Sundering Eruption then. Oh wait, so if they have no basic, they didn't have any basics to get. They only have these 3 basics in their deck. They don't even have a mountain. I'm gonna cast Sundering Eruption then, instead of getting Flage back. Goodbye, mana. Blade certainly clocks them quicker, but it looks like they had nothing to get. Yep, nothing. Oh, look at that. I want a third Surveil land in my deck right now. Ugh. Am I really going to put 3 in this deck? I might. I'll think about it. Alright, we have the ability to play Solitude and copy it with Kiki too, which is so fun. Alright, I do not think this deck needs to care at all about what's in its graveyard, so we can just exile whatever. Alright, damage to you. Okay. I guess my Fleech goes to Jesus. Goodbye, Fleech. You will be missed. Okay, so what do we want to do? Thinking about just flashing Solitude out on their end step. Because my thought process right now is, if I play Flage right now, I will not have mana to cast Solitude on their end step. And another thing that I don't have is the cards in graveyard to escape my Flage. I think I'm just going to pass with Solitude up. See what they play. My opponent might be able to fetch a red source and throw an Omnath into play here. It's something we can do. Nah, they're just going to give up. Okay. It's fine, I guess. Alright, that was a really good showing for the land destruction in that deck. In this deck, that was awesome. Okay. We are on the draw against Absky 5. We have a hand that throws out 2 White Orchids, and it has the Pitch Solitude, but no Ephemerate part. I think this is going to be good enough. Okay, we see that they are on Luris. Does that change our decision? It's good enough, regardless. I also have Flage, which is going to be great against the Luris deck, so maybe I would end up pitching a White Orchid Phantom to Solitude instead of Flage. Alright, what we got? It's our favorite. Guide of Souls. My own? Oh, it's Christmas. Alright, let's go ahead and play a basic, play a Guide of Souls. I am, like, sincerely thinking about solituding that Souls, though. I'm thinking about it. Am I gonna do it? Yes, I am gonna do it. I'm gonna pitch this extra Orchid here, and I'm gonna get rid of the Guide of Souls. Because they have the faster deck. Guide of Souls is the card that's gonna let them snowball and get ahead of me. So for that reason, I'm gonna be very happy to do 2-for-1 myself early and literally get rid of a 1-drop. Right, I also denied them 2 energy here, which is like more important than you would think. And we get Flage mana now, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and grab a white source here. We could probably grab Sacred Foundry, get away with it. And here we're gonna blow up their Sacred Foundry. Now we have a nice blocker for the Ragavan. If a removal spell goes onto White Orchid, I'm going to happily trade and not let the Ragavan hit me. Our decks are in the same colors, and they have some pretty good hits. Like, if they hit a Fable of the Mirror Breaker or something in my deck, oof, that's not good. I wonder how many basics they play. Probably a fair amount, because they're a Blood Moon deck, right? One would hope. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this damage. Ooh, Fury. So do we want to do it? We could just nuke their board. That's probably correct, right? And then we don't have to worry about stuff for a while. But the thing is, if we don't Fury here, we could just like Flage. No, with a Ragavan and a Ocelot Pride in play, I think it's going to be correct to Fury their board and then put Fable into play. So we would be pitching Flage to Fury, even though I think Flage is like very good. Or do we pitch Fable? I think pitch Fable to Fury and then hold Flage is probably the best thing that we could do here. Let's put Fury into play. Notably gets us 3 energy. Go ahead and wrap their board. And I will go ahead and play this tapped. And I'll give my Guide of Soul some flying. Alright, now we're on the beatdown. Ooh. Alright, Guide of Souls goes to timeout. Yeah, pretty straightforward turn here, right? We play our tap lands, we play our Flage. Flage is 2 cards away from coming back. Our opponent's checking our graveyard to see how far we are. We're not there yet, don't worry. Oh, we'll get there eventually, though. Energy upkeep is going to start being a problem for our opponent. They do need a new source of energy to hit play. Alright, there's an amulet. They can't use it for cards unless they want their static prison to break. Oh, another one. Sure. But again, energy upkeep is a problem. Like, now they have to pay 2 a turn. And if they activate that, they better find an energy card. Okay, they did. No targets, though. Yeah, that can chill in my hand. We hit a land, then it's a killer threat. Gets 1 for 1 by the discharge, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. Right, they will be paying and paying again. I think I'm content to just stare at them, right? There's your boy Amped Raptor. Ah, there's the energy. It's back. So Galvanic Discharge is actually a card I'm thinking about for this deck. I think if I cut the land destruction package, we could put it in. The thing is, we just have so much removal already between Fury and Solitude. I didn't want too much. So then you just have cards that are blank pieces of cardboard against combo decks, and that's not a position you want to be in. Alright, they went ahead and got rid of that Galvanic Discharge. That's good by me. So do I just play this Guide of Souls and offer it up to the Lightning Bolt gods? It gets us 1 card closer to Flage coming back, and it gets this removal spell out of our opponent's hand, quote-unquote hand. Our opponent did misplay, by the way. They let this thing go away. They could have tapped their other amulet, but the minor things. I think we do. I think that's fine. Because we have a much scarier 3 toughness creature that we would like to put in play, and we also have a 6 toughness creature that is only 1 card off of escaping after this thing dies. We are getting beat down between these triggers and the Raptor, but like we're literally 1 card from Flage coming back. It's okay. Okay, sweet. Yeah, we have the luxury of choice here. We can choose either Fury or Flage. I'm going to choose Flage just because it dies to the least number of removal spells. This dies to Bolt, this one does not. Quite Shrimple, in fact. And we could take a Parlor here if we pick Flage, so we can see what's on top. No, we do not want that. Right, Shrimple is that. Do we even bother killing the Raptor? Like, I can just go like that. And they are very close to dead. Right, ooh, more energy. More energy and more upkeep to be paid. They're gonna go for it though, because they're on the back foot. We get our 2 creatures back next turn, which is awesome. Yep, they'll concede. Writing's on the wall. Oh, right, we have our hyper-specific hate card, one of. We also have 2 Swords to Plowshares, which is pretty nice, and then we can decide just what's like the slowest bit of the deck that we can cut. It's probably these Cleansing Wildfires. Do need to be careful with red card count for Fury, though. We can't let it dip 2, though. A lot of these cards I want to cut in the mid-range matchup are the Pitch to Fury cards, so as it stands, we have 15, which is probably still enough, but barely enough. I would really like 1 or 2 more, but it is how it is, right? Yeah, I think we run it back just like this. This is the sideboard plan for fair decks. Okay, okay, we have Fury without the scam. I think we keep this. By the scam, I mean Ephemerate, of course, but look, we got removal spell, removal spell, removal spell, incidental life gain card. I think that's good enough, man. Alright, our opponent goes to 5, so when they get Fury, they're probably gonna scoop. I'll be honest, that's how it usually goes. We'll go ahead and play our tap land. I don't feel a rush to put creatures on the board. Yep, they did bold a Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride, which is one of the better openers they can have, but it does die to a Fury. Alright, no Ephemerate for me, sadly, but let's go ahead and play Guide of Souls, and then since we drew a 3rd land, we can go ahead and pitch that Sundering Eruption. Because I am pretty interested in playing Fable next turn, now that we're making it to turn 3 without being half dead. Damage, damage, damage. Alright, Guide of Souls is dying with a little bit of weird timing. They let me get an extra life and energy for no reason. That's fine. Okay, sweet. So now we can go ahead and slam a Fable next turn. We also still have swords up. We can fetch and kill something scary if it shows up. Oh no. That's why you gotta be careful about Amped Raptor on an empty board. That's why I always say it. Super careful. Alright, the Pride? Pride good? Pride's pretty mid when we don't have another source of life gain and we're not playing it early on the play. Ooh, the Flage. I think we can play Fable instead of Flage. Oh no, we're ready to escape Flage. We can escape Flage soon. I still think we play Fable. Because we have Fury to mow down the creatures on their board. So I'm happy to let them, like, untap, play another creature without me killing this Raptor, and then just get, like, another, you know, double, triple kill with Fury. I was going to call it a 2-for-1, but we're probably pitching a card. It's not a 4-1 at all. Let's see if we get lucky, and then we can, like, just get rid of a Flage. Get rid of Flage, get rid of swords, draw land so that Flage comes back. And then our opponent probably gives up. Yeah, you concede. You scoop to this, right, opponent? Yeah. I played enough Boros to know. Alright, ooh, number 11. Let's do it. I had fun. Alright, we are on the draw against a Yorion deck. Yorion almost always means beans. So, are we happy starting with Ocelot Prides and Cleansing Wildfires against beans? I think so. This Fury, maybe not the card that we want here, but... Say, oh, the Guide of Souls. Alright, this opening went from good to great. Let's go ahead and start with Guide of Souls, and then we can double Pride next turn, or we can cleanse them if they do something silly, like fetching a Triome and allowing me to blow it up. Here's our opponent has fetched a triumph. No, don't just like slam a beans. I'm gonna blow up your triumph, dude. I'm also really tempted to get double Ocelot Pride in play, because maybe that smothers them. Not if they have a Fury in hand. I'd rather... Oh, blind if their land doesn't change whether or not they have a Fury in hand, right? Yeah, I think the correct play here is just the one land destruction isn't going to end their game, but this lets us actually go wider than Fury very fast. Yep, the nut draw is here. Take some tokens. All right. Ooh, the glamour. So we have Scam Fury available to us. Is that really what we want to do? Our opponent is also on the Revels plan. So I'm wondering about Solitude. Solitude is the card on my mind as a card. I think we begin by going to combat and seeing what happens. Okay, nothing. There's no priority for my opponent. So I'm gonna be really happy to just put some counters on my kitty cat. Alright, what's my blessing count? We're at 7 out of 10. So if I don't have an untapped land, but if I had an untapped land, I'd probably play Fable just so that we would get blessing and then we just go stupid wide. Oh, we do get blessing if we wildfire ourselves. But I'm too interested in wildfiring them. We'll get blessing on the second cat trigger, which is still plenty fine. But this is a greedy deck with greedy mana. This is the reason we're packing the cleansing wildfires. We'll make one cat and then 3. If we played Fable, we would have also made some Fable tokens. Be very funny. I wish we had that untapped land. Our opponent can now pitch cast an elemental. And with Cabaret Revels, if you don't know, if you cast like a Fury for 0 mana with this card, you get to seek like a Omnath out of your deck, or whatever it hits. Watch, this is gonna hit an Omnath probably. An Uro, yeah, see some disgusting stuff like that. Look at the amount of card advantage this Beans opponent gets. Oh my god. Beans is ridiculous, man. No Ephemerate, thankfully. But yeah, Beans is a freaking deck. Oh my god. Another Pride. Makes me think, should I be playing the other Pride or play Fable? I think Fable's got to be the correct play here, right? Hey, fly a random little thing in case of removal spell. I want these two to live. Yep, swords coming through. Right, my opponent swordsing a 1/1 is a pretty good sign for me. I'll go ahead and play this Fable. I get an extra little Fable Goblin too. I have 38 life in a scam deck. How did this happen? Oh my god, this is dumb. Oh, it feels good to be the scam deck. Alright, so against them, we did High Noon last time. Fury's out, High Noon's in. Did I make more changes? I think I said no, no more changes. They're an Uro deck. Do we maybe want the one graveyard hate piece over the Fury? Maybe just Fury and Uro. There's swords it as well. Yeah, we'll run it back like this. All right, game 2, we are on the draw against Beans. I see 2 land destruction spells, I keep. I see Flicker Solitude, I keep. I think we're really gonna Flicker White Orchid though. Ooh, it might be nasty. There might be no survivors this game. I'm questioning whether or not I need guide. Oh my god, another White Orchid Phantom. All right, the answer is no, I don't need the turn 1 Guide of Souls. We're gonna curve out with the double White Orchids. Do I want it's High Noon? Hell yeah, I think. Do I? Do I? I'd rather have a different card. This is pretty good. You go. I do want to hit more land drops, specifically light lands, because I have these double white cards, and I would love to double spell by playing Guide of Soul into White Orchid, but that might not happen. Classic Beans coming through yet again. All right, let's see what kind of basics you have in your deck, opponent. Because the land destruction, it is not going to stop. Until you have only basics in play, then I can't mess with you anymore. Are you fetching a basic, or are you getting a little greedy there? How greedy are we getting? Oh, someone got greedy. Shame. Okay, let's see what they have. Another beans. You got it. Oh, ephemerate? Oof. I think we do that. I think that's a little bit better than playing the second White Orchid Phantom, because I also get to resolve my Guide of Souls. I really want to hold this in my hand because it can like blow up their basics now that they're only on basics. I think it's okay to skip my third land drop here. Weird as that is. I don't know if that's a correct play or not. We'll find out. They also have Omnath off of basics. You gotta love it when you see it. I think we might want to... So we can't put a Solitude into play off of this Ephemerate. I'm gonna... Actually, no, I want to Ephemerate anything. Yeah, Solitude, pitching Solitude, Glamour it seems to be a good play for this turn, so let's hold full control. Pitch the Solitude. Get rid of Omnath. The other thing we could do is just play High Noon instead of Glamoring. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Am I gonna lock my opponent up? Probably. Play High Noon. So now they can only cast one spell a turn, which is going to make it really difficult for them to get out of this. And a decline to play the Sundering still. I think it's better for us to just hold it. Cast it later. There's an arrow, but that's your one spell, opponent. You don't get two. Just one. You gotta play honest and fair today. They're gaining a lot of life, though, and this arrow is probably coming back. Maybe Solitude pitching Solitude before was a little loose. So we have some choices here. We can Sundering Eruption, throw our Flage into the bin, though I don't think I'm a huge fan of that. I think I'm just going to blow up their land. Uro is going to come back. Interesting. We could deal with him, though. We could deal with him. We could flicker him with Glamour to make him visit the graveyard again, which is very funny to me. They also, like, aren't necessarily going to have the mana to cast him. Yeah, they have no more basics to get, so they can't get, they need an extra blue and a green source, so they can only get one off of their fetch. Let's fly our Guide of Souls in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and, really, I'm gonna hold this. I'll admit defeat, I'll play it. I'll play it. Again, I'm not basic, I'm gonna Glamour my way. Just do it. Oh, no verdict. Wait, that's cheating. You don't have to do that. Okay. So here we're gonna play Flage, and we're gonna escape it next turn. Play Flage, they go to 5. They can get the Uro back from their graveyard soon, that's fine. But we have ways to kill it. We can Glamour it to death, which would be very funny. Also, if they don't escape Uro this turn, we have High Noon lethal if we draw land. Get their own Flage, okay. another Flage, that can go in the graveyard. Alright, yep, let's escape our Flage. I think that's a pretty straightforward turn, and then on our next turn, we can use Glamour to kill their Uro, Flage, whatever blocker that they decided upon. The way that this doesn't work out for us is if Evoke Solitude hits the battlefield right at this moment. Does not look like that's happening though, so it's good for us. Oh, just kidding. Yeah, they draw 2 here. Really unfortunate. They draw 2, they stabilize, they can escape their own elemental at their own convenience, like very soon. And they can escape Flage right now. A little rough. And they have almost enough escape fuel for a second go, which is really concerning. Yeah, so we can go ahead and Glamour to kill their Flage. I also flicker it to save up mana. I can cast only 1 spell a turn, though, notably. So I'm going to play Guide of Souls, and then on their turn, for combat, we're going to go ahead and Glamour their Flage to kill it. Goodbye, Flage. Yeah, opponent can't see that one coming. That is not a common card. Unfortunately, this Wildfire is looking a little silly. Came a little late. Moon of 5? Well, I guess because they get to get their creature back, but opponent, that is High Noon lethal. Don't tempt fate like that, okay? They get to get Flage back again here, and that will kill my Guide of Souls? Troublesome. I think that might be game. Trying to think about how we get out of here. I think we start by cleansing Wildfiring and seeing what we drop. It was close, but unfortunately they were able to get under us. I'm not sure exactly what I did wrong. This is one of the games that I'll watch my own video back and I'll try to figure it out. Maybe there was a sequencing decision. It's a bad mulligan. I'm not sure. Well, there's something certainly I can do better. Alright. Let's run it back. Sideboard plan is not going to change here. Alright, cool. We got a very fast opener, so let's go ahead and keep it. A fast opener with land destruction. It seems sweet. We might not have double weight on 2. It's unfortunate that we drew our basic mountain and our red MDFC in this opener. So we might have a... Oh, never mind. We get to blow it up on curve. He gets to do it all. Okay. Ooh. I was thinking about just snapping off the Sundering Eruption, but what if we went Kitty Cat into High Noon? Now we're using 100% of our brain. Kitty Cat, we go to combat, we see what happens. Something's happening. Goodbye, Kitty Cat. Then we play High Noon, so they can't like play a Beans and then evoke some stuff. And then next turn we can go ahead and slam off a land destruction spell. We do need some gas off the top of the deck, though. You are going to be drawn dead soon. Okay, Flage, quite good for them. Definitely the card to help them stabilize, but we can get blowing their lands up. Oh, we get to do it all, as they say. What is better, Sundering or getting to Ephemerate our White Orchid Phantom? I like the idea of blowing up their basic planes, and then we can Ephemerate on a later turn. We only get to do one Ephemerate, too. If we did it this turn, it would rebound in our next upkeep, locking us out of casting a spell next turn as well, for the High Noon. Let's go ahead and blow up their basic here. That basic plains is gone, which is going to make it very hard for them to cast Flage back from the graveyard. Them recasting Flage or Uro is like their realistic way to win this game. So let's try to keep them off of the mana to do that. Yep, they got a basic forest, but they absolutely don't have multiple basic plains. Hey, the ring is here. That gives them protection, but definitely not their lands. Two ephemerates. Oh, it's Christmas. Honestly, I think I'm gonna ephemerate it again on their upkeep. Alright, you are getting ephemerated a second time, big man. And it resolves. Alright, let's go ahead and keep them off of Uro mana, even though I haven't seen an Uro yet. They're so far away from Flage. Okay, and that's probably their last basic. They play one basic of each color. These Beans decks don't play black usually. No second spell for you, opponent. Read High Noon. Alright, taking self damage. I love it. Can't pitch an elemental. Don't try. Read High Noon. Okay, thank you. I would love to attack them, but this is permanent land destruction. Oh, you got a Solitude here? Sure. So this is cast, right? Oh no, it doesn't say cast. It says just put it onto the battlefield. Oh, damn. Alright. Oh no, that's Earl mana. Oh, we're so screwed. Dang. Alright, not quite unfortunate. Right. So this we can't even cast it because of High Noon. Oh, no. Wildfire, it shows up just a smidge too late. This is unfortunate. So they are going to get this Uro back. They can fetch a blue source out of their deck, any arbitrary blue source. Oh, no, you don't? Hello? You don't want him? Okay, that's fine. And that's how I would think you would win the game. There's a Flooded Strand. There's certainly a blue source in your deck for Uro, but maybe they have a different plan. Maybe they have another 5-drop they want to cast. Yeah, or an Omnath. Omnath seeks out probably another Uro. Yep. Looks like they might be able to run away with this one, but we can shoot Omnath with the High Noon. Not over. Okay, draw mana. Do like the idea of blowing up lands. I also do like the idea of this Omnath being freaking dead. So what do I value more? Do I value more a dead Omnath or them not being able to Uro 110%? Omnath staying in play would allow them to Uro, I'm sure. Unfortunately, losing the High Noon is going to let them cast all their cards, right? Now they get to cast all their stuff. Am I concerned about that? Yes. Am I more concerned about this Omnath being in play and letting them have mana and gain life? Yeah, I think Omnath's got to go. Goodbye, Omnath. I think we're 90+% to lose here. We'll have to see. Opponent probably has so much gas in their hand. Draw. Okay, maybe no gas. Beans? Okay. Surely there's some Solitude you can evoke out to trigger all your cards, right? Bang life. Another one. Oh, they stop the self-life loss? Sure. Wait, we get to unconditionally destroy their lands now, which is pretty sweet. They are out of basics, and they're going to discard. Okay, hey, maybe it's gonna work out for us. So let's think about the Uro, think about the Flage. We got Flage mana here. Flage warning. So let's take out one of these Boros lands. Once our opponent figures out what they're keeping. And then we get two more draws, one for turn, one off of Wildfire. So surely we hit some amount of action off of that. I still don't love our chances to win with our opponent having a Beans, a Revels, and a Ring in play. Maybe Revels is actually a card that this deck can consider. Obviously, you'd have to splash a color, but if we stopped being Boros, maybe we could splash for this when we evoke our elementals. Yeah, you think about that. Evoke an elemental, throw a Fable the Mirror Breaker, or a White Orchid Phantom into play. That's sick. Let's get rid of that. Draw a card. I could be ramping myself, but this is unconditional land destruction here, so we want it. Ooh, and a Fury. Christmas. Do we want to take them off of double green? We'll take them off of the Flage still. Take their only white source away so they can't draw an Omnath now. Oh, and it's the kitty cat. My favorite. So if they do draw a fetch land, yep. They still can get their elemental back from the graveyard. They can do it. You can do a million things. The world is their oyster right now. But you don't. There's something keeping them off of casting this Uro, because I would assume they would have done it by now. Right? What's keeping them from doing it? Anything? No, right? Unless they have no more blue or green fetchables. I'm trying to think of what I want to do. No matter what, let's surveil. I don't think whether or not I just want to play this Fury for no value. It is a one-turn clock, but ooh, a Fable. That's a grand top deck. I definitely keep this on top. It's just the question now, do we play the Fury? If we play the Fury, it's a one-turn clock. However, they probably have 100 ways to remove it. But then if we do nothing, then what happens? Alright? It's not like it gets better. I will play the Fury for 5 mana. We'll attempt to clock my opponent, submit 0. It is a one-turn clock. I'm sure my opponent has an answer. Surely they have something. If they have something, we probably scoop. Fable is one of the best cards to have on top of our deck in this situation, but still. That's a little sus. Nothing, though. Strange. Crow comes back, yeah. Oh, they have a voice in their deck to fetch. Huh. Okay. Ugh, problematic. Yeah, I unfortunately think this is it. And they're gonna draw too many cards. Alright, we stayed competitive at least, though. Maybe there were some sequencing decisions I could have made better. I'll go ahead and watch my own video back to think about that. But I think the deck did go pretty decent. We did play Beans twice, if I'm remembering correctly, and we split them, one win, one loss, and even in the loss it was, what, 1 game won and 2 games lost, and we were competitive. So maybe there is a lot of merit to this land destruction package. Maybe I should just be playing Blood Moon. I'll think about it. Cabaret Revels is not a card I was considering for this deck, but maybe it's one that you could shove in. You just have to splash green a little bit. I'm thinking. And this is also, if you get rid of the land destruction package here, it's also an Ovash deck. Like you'll see there's 2 incompatible cards, but these are the 2 cards that I said are like kind of an optional package. They go together. So I'm gonna keep working on this. I might make it an Ovash deck. I might think about splashing green for Rebels. Like, do I have that card even? No, I'm gonna have to spend wild cards. No. Okay, that's fine. I really do love the idea of like evoke Solitude or Fury and then just put one of these really sweet cards into play. But yeah, this is something you'll see again. I think this is a sweet shell. I think this is a really cool direction to go. These pitch elementals and Flage are all incredibly, incredibly powerful. So we'll definitely see it on the channel again.